Is it just me, or have you guys noticed that people seemingly barely do anything without thinking about how it looks anymore? Like, not just like in a fake influencer way, but just in general, you know, people go somewhere nice and immediately think about posting it before they think about anything else. People are they experience moments while partially like observing them from the outside instead of just fully experiencing them, as a whole. And honestly, I don't fully blame people for this because if you grow up online long enough, eventually the internet stops feeling separate from real life. It just kind of bleeds into each other and it feels like part of your actual identity. A lot of people, my age have spent years constantly documenting themselves in some way, like posting and sharing their opinions, taking pictures, snapping people, watching everyone else do the same thing. After a while, I think it changes the way that people experience life. Because instead of just existing in moments, people kind of start thinking about how moments appear, how they'd be captioned, how they'll be perceived, whether they're aesthetic enough, whether they're interesting enough, whether they're worth showing to people. And I think this creates a weird disconnect from reality over time because humans weren't meant to be, they weren't meant to constantly observe themselves from a third person perspective. But now people do it almost automatically. Sometimes I'll catch myself doing it too. You'll be somewhere genuinely beautiful, and instead of fully being there mentally, part of your brain immediately thinks like this would look good, on a story, or this feels cinematic, this would make a good Instagram post. You know, I think we all kind of do that. Another example is concerts feel completely different now. Thousands of people all recording the same moment through their phones instead of actually just watching the moment directly. This is just one of the most visual examples. I mean, you literally go to a concert and everyone's recording. They're just up here with their phones instead of just watching the concert. And honestly, I think people know something about this feels strange. Like, I mean, but it's just become so normalized that nobody really questions it anymore. It's just kind of like the norm. I think social media has slowly trained people to view their own lives as something that is constantly being like presented. And because of that, authenticity starts getting blurry. It kind of, it doesn't it kind of blurs the line a little bit. Not because everyone's fake, but because when people know they're constantly being perceived, they naturally start adjusting themselves. People stop acting naturally. You can't, it's hard to act natural when you know someone's watching. And that's kind of just how our everyday lives feel at this point. They start acting like a version of themselves that they think will be received well. And honestly, I think this slowly leaks into real life too. That's why so many interactions feel slightly performative now. Not completely fake, just filtered, slightly performative. Like everyone is subconsciously aware of themselves all the time. Even hanging out with people can feel different now. People are physically together, but mentally part of them is somewhere else, and everyone kind of knows this. Everyone's like a little bit checked out mentally, even if you're there. I mean, I think we all kind of get that sense. Someone checks a notification, someone posts, while the moment is still happening, or someone, opens Reels or TikTok without even thinking about it. And honestly, I think people are getting kind of exhausted from constantly feeling observed. Humans need spaces where they can exist without thinking about perception all the time, where they can just exist and not worry about how they're being perceived, how they're being seen, without packaging themselves and without performing themselves, without broadcasting themselves. But modern life makes that harder and harder every day, it seems like. Not everything needs to become content. Some things should just belong to you. And honestly, I think deep down, a lot of people miss feeling real.